Awesome. Hello and welcome to the Town of Basalt Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on Tuesday, March 17th. Do we have a call to order, please? Or can we have a call to order?
Yes. Bill Marin.
Yo.
Kyle Oberketter. Eric Vozek.
Here.
Rob Levitt.
Yes.
Cindy Hirschfield.
Here.
Mike Horvath.
Here.
Bob Kaplan. And Ben Firestein.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Excellent. First item is to approve the minutes. We have 2 minutes to approve from February 17th and March 3rd of this year. Do we have any comments, corrections? If not, we'll take a motion.
Just a comment on the February 17. That was the fairly in-depth discussion that we had on the development proposal. When I first read through the minutes, I didn't think it conveyed our conflicts. I did read it the second time this afternoon and felt better about it, but I was curious if you guys had read it and wanted to, or were comfortable with it. We got our point across to council.
I did not. In the second reading, what jumped out better to you? Or something, it read better to you that it was in there or not?
Yeah, it looked like it had covered the major points. The first time I didn't see that, but I just wanted to make sure everybody here was comfortable with it because it was one of our more complicated matters.
Didn't read it yet.
It wasn't a conflict I had much stake in, so. However, it came.
But you were
across
also,
my- What?
well, I guess you were torn for a different reason, but you want that reflected.
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I thought it was in there. Could it have been highlighted a little more? Possibly, yeah. I don't know how that plays out.
You would need to suggest a correction to the
We
minutes.
could share that, sorry.
Well, did it get communicated to council or not?
So they're draft minutes, so not yet.
No, not the minutes, but I mean,
It hasn't
is that the
gone-
only way it gets communicated to them is through the minutes and counting on them to read the minutes?
I didn't want to rewrite the minutes. I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure everyone was comfortable that it conveyed our thoughts.
Well, so what will, in the absence of a specific request of an amendment there, in the staff memo to council, we can reiterate that there was lengthy discussion on, some controversial topics there.
It still may not work.
I'm okay with that.
Would they be spelled out?
I think that's where it would be better if there was a specific thing, because what I'm dancing around here is that I haven't read the minutes lately, but I don't remember that everybody was on the same page about what their conflicts were. You had a lot of people, and then there were other issues that had a lot of people, but it wasn't a consecutive agreement on what the conflicts were.
That's the point we wanted to get across.
I can do that. We can absolutely highlight that the board was torn on different topics and highlight what those topics were. Does that work?
Yeah,
Okay.
Make a motion then to approve the minutes with that in the staff memo.
so moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Bill, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Motion carries.
That was both of them, right?
Yeah. Excellent. So the next item then is a public hearing on 540 Basalt Avenue Special Review and Associated Development Review Request. And I will hand it over to staff.
Share my screen here to make sure we're capturing. Yeah, go for it. Carlton Henry, Planner 2 at the Town of Basalt. Here to present staff memo and review for a public hearing, 540 Basalt Avenue, an application for site plan review, special review, a PUD amendment, and housing mitigation report, as well as associated development review procedures. Tonight, we also have Patrick Raleigh of Raleigh Design Planning and Willis Pember here from the applicant team to provide further detail and answer any questions you may have. Again, this is a public hearing, and noticing was provided for this application. Just as an introduction, PC Development, known as the applicant here, has applied for the following applications: site plan review, special review, PUD amendment, housing mitigation report, and further development review actions to construct one deed-restricted residential unit at 540 Basalt Avenue in the Basalt Business Center South PUD. A vicinity map has been provided as a part of your packet, and a site visit was preceded the planning and zoning meeting this evening at 5:15 p.m. Also, as a part of your packet, you will see exhibits A through C, including an application, public noticing materials, and referral comments as part of this application. Little background on the property. The property contains just under 8,000 square feet and is located, as I mentioned, in the industrial zone district as well as the Basalt Business Center South PUD. The property is currently bordered by mixed-use properties to the north and to the west, with commercial, residential, and industrial uses in the general vicinity. The south side floodplain runs through the site. However, no changes to the building envelope or footprint are proposed as part of the site. In response to referral comments from the Public Works and Engineering staff, the applicant has provided a floodplain mapping. However, it was provided this week and was not provided in time for your packet last week. Currently, the site is mixed use in nature, with the rug wash business on the ground floor and an existing residential unit existing on the second floor. The applicant has proposed the addition of a 659 square foot 2-bedroom residential unit to be deed restricted at Category 5. The property currently contains one 758 square foot 2-bedroom residential unit, which is proposed to remain as part of this application. The review process for this application required a review from the Basalt Affordable and Community Housing Commission. BAC is a referral agency on land use applications of this kind. On February 26, 2026, BAC reviewed the application with consideration given to consistency with the master plan, the level of affordable housing mitigation, the proposed unit mix, compliance with the minimum livability requirements found in the community housing guidelines, the proposed occupancy priorities, and storage and bicycle storage on site. At that meeting, BAC proposed approval of this application and found that the proposed unit met the community housing livability requirements as shown. Staff has included a number of items for your consideration, including consistency with the master plan, the level of affordable housing mitigation, the proposed unit mix, compliance with the minimum livability requirements in the community housing guidelines, parking and vehicular circulation, the proposal of combined private open space, the proposed change to the occupancy priority, whereas the applicant has requested priorities for employees of the property owner, ahead of the otherwise unchanged community housing guideline occupancy priorities. It should be noted that BAC expressed support for the applicant's proposed occupancy priorities at the February 26th meeting. For recommendation, Planning and Zoning Commission has the following recommendation options to Town Council: to recommend approval as presented, to recommend conditional approval or approval with the draft conditions amended, or to recommend denial. Staff recommends that Planning and Zoning Commission hear presentations from staff and the applicant, hear public comment, provide discussion, and provide a recommendation for Town Council's consideration, including consideration of the conditions included in your packet. With that, I would suggest a presentation from the applicant regarding the development application.
Thank you very much, Carlton. For the record, my name is Patrick Raleigh Design Planning. I'm here with Willis Pember of Willis Pember Architects, and Paul Cathers is also with us if we have any questions. Also would like to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day. We do that on the site visit, so hope you have a good day. Here we go. So as Carlton pointed out, this is a review. Sorry, I'm trying to get something out of the way. for PUD amendment, site plan review, special review, and a housing mitigation report. This is a proposed Cat 5 deed restricted unit that would be located on the third unit of an existing two-story building, as you just saw, with the ground floor commercial of the rug wash and then the second floor residential. So this stacks nicely on top of that existing. No modifications to the footprint are proposed. We are located in the industrial zone district of the town of Basalt and also in the BBCS. We have coordinated with the BBCS and they have authorized us to make this application. And there was a period of time that they could have acted upon design review and no negative comments were received. The proposed unit is not for mitigation of any other development. This is a standalone affordable housing unit that is intended to be used by the applicant's employees. And the applicant, of course, is immediately to the north of this property, so it's a really nice opportunity for an employee to have a residential unit. Also, as Carlton had pointed out, we did go in front of the BOC, and they reviewed the livability of the unit, asked us a few questions, and approved us on a 6-0 vote. I don't know why it doesn't advance. Here's a vicinity map of the site. The site itself is outlined in yellow. And you will note that we're located about 700 feet away from the Basalt Park and Ride. So this is really a very walkable, TOD-oriented type, transit-oriented design type development. And that's, about a 3-minute walk. So in addition to being very close to transit, it's very close to the amenities of the town and other features. So nicely located within the town. Here is the improvement survey. And I reviewed these things on site with everyone, but we'll go through them again. There's actually 2 curb cuts that serve this property. That curb cut that's shown in yellow is not usable, so we will be closing that and re-landscaping that, and that actually becomes area of snow storage. We have the 25-foot, I think on site I said 35-foot, but it's a 25-foot building setback. That's shown in orange from the property line, which is basically the sidewalk and the building, the existing building kisses that setback area. Then you have the large species landscape and pedestrian easement. So any landscaping that we are proposing of a larger size, a tree will be located in this area. You have another area of easement for small species, so we have proposed some shrubs and appropriate landscaping in that area. And then finally, we have a water line easement that is located at the southern tip of the property. One of the referral comments was about water service. We're currently having the water line located. It obviously probably emanates from this location, but when we get those locates, we'll pull that information into the building permit submission. So here's the familiar view of looking south, the existing Cather's Home building in the image on the left, with the proposed unit on the 3rd story. And then the rather nice rendering done by Willis is on the right, showing roughly where we were standing at the site visit, looking back at the rug wash on the ground floor, the second floor existing residential unit, and then the proposed unit on top. Here's our landscape plan, site plan. So we were talking a little bit on site that there's an existing 100 square foot tough shed that is available to the residents, and that's kind of an added storage area. I think a lot of the existing residents use it for bike storage, but we have also proposed additional storage throughout the development. We have a relocated dumpster area would be located back there. Again, the dumpster is currently kind of hanging out in the parking area, so we'll put that in a more appropriate location to the rear of the property, and have worked with Mountain Waste, and we're working with the neighboring property owner to ensure that access to that dumpster is acceptable to all. The existing deck, as you all saw, it is a kind of a riprap stone deck that it functions with some drainage inlets. We'd be putting a decking over the top of that, and expanding the usable space of that. and have provided, a planted edge to, for safety, and also some sunshades, shade sails, to provide a nice amenity for both of the units. And then there is a second outdoor deck, which will be up on the third floor, immediately adjacent to the proposed unit for the occupants of this unit to utilize. There are 6 spaces provided. There is a allowance that we can reduce our required parking by 25%. We are utilizing that. However, there were some comments about accessibility because of the rug wash operations, and Paul, who controls the properties to the north, has agreed to provide a parking easement agreement for the residents of this, so any overflow or additional parking. So we have actually quite a lot of additional parking that can be provided immediately to the north of the site. And with that, I'll turn it over to Willis to walk us through the site plan, or the layout, the floor plan.
Hi, I'm Willis Pember, Willis Pember Architects, as Patrick introduced. We're looking at the floor plan now, and this is a very small 2-bedroom apartment. 2-bedroom, 1.5 baths, as livability requirements ask for that extra 1.5 bath. And so we were able to accommodate the program of the livability requirements within a relatively small footprint. One of the smallest projects I've ever worked on. And I've worked with Paul for many years on this property, and the property to the north is actually continuous. It's a continuous fabric. It's made of the same CMU on the base that travels north to south or south to north between the 2 buildings. And we have added, as a result of interacting with Carlton and the town, 50 square feet of exterior storage that you see circled there. And that is accessed through an exterior deck off of the living room area. And that upper deck is sandwiched between the new structure and the Cather's home structure to the north. Those are livability standards, itemized, and we've met or exceeded them, and particularly with reference to outdoor space, we've exceeded any standards that are known to man, I think. So we've got, the expansion of the deck for use by the people, the residential units, is quite gratuitous and very generous. Let's see. And here's the elevation that is called, the sheet is called proposed materiality. I'd first like to talk about the massing a little bit. We enjoy a graduated height limit here. In other words, if we're beyond 20 feet, I believe, then the height restriction goes up incrementally, depending on how far back you are from Basalt Avenue. We enjoy this small little niche above the existing residential area that allows us to add this story. We do not exceed the height limit, and we, in terms of overall scale, we are lower than the dormers to the north that are part of the 4 ADUs that are 4 2-bedroom apartments that are above Cather's home proper. And the material palette is maintenance-free and generally fireproof. The fireproofing will force our hand during the permit application, but as it stands now, everything is anticipated to be 1 hour fire-resistant construction. And the white clapboard, imitation clapboard, is really concrete board. We've left the lower level pretty much the way it is, although we've enhanced the fascia and then brought the fascia up to reclad the existing residential unit on the 2nd floor. And the top floor is basically an airy with great openness and prospect view looking out north to the east, and then from the north looking at Basalt Mountain and the townscape. And in terms of the character, we are in the industrial zone district, and so while architects are often asked to respond to design guidelines and input from neighbors and all of those good things, good architects are always looking for kind of relational ends to a site or context. And again, we can't transform this whole development, this whole connected building, because it's like 650 feet, it's very small. So we made this very, very different and contrasting, but I think it's will add a nice jewel to that extended block. And it meets expectations that when buildings get taller, they also tend to get lighter. And that is definitely the presentation here. And the glass and the openings respond to the availability of wonderful views up there. And I think that's about it. I'll turn it back to Patrick.
Yeah,
Do you have any questions specifically on the materials or anything else I said?
And just because I mentioned it, going back to this view, and I should have spoken to it here, there is additional storage. This would be specifically bike storage immediately underneath the stairwell. So, different view, but the generous areas for storage continue. And you can see the planted edge and other amenities that we've tried to introduce. So Carlton did mention about the referral comments, and we did get those about a little over 10 days ago. We're working through them. We did submit a response from Sopris Engineering that is responding to most of these comments, but I would like to take a moment just to kind of go through this. So concerning the floodplain, the 100-year floodplain, or Zone AE, is indicated by this red area. So we are located outside of the floodplain. This mapping will be included in all building permit materials, and again, no modification is made to the existing footprint of the building. So floodplain issues should be met. One of the comments was also provide that additional parking. So there you can see in yellow the area of the large gravel lot where that food truck is also located, and then Keller's home parking, but Paul has graciously said that he'll provide some additional parking there for any overflow to maintain the openness of the driveway area. So a lot of comments came from the town engineer. They included that the driveway grading should direct all storm runoff to the stormwater system. The site is actually negatively drained, so it drains back towards the structure, but you can see that in the yellow is an existing drain flow path, and so water will be redirected into that location. And again, we will provide a detailed drainage plan at building permit submission. One of the other comments was that all the drain inlets should be traffic rated. So Paul Rutledge of Sopris Engineering has updated the specifications so that they'll be provided with an iron ring, which is traffic rated, and that will survive vehicle traffic. There was a discussion about the flow well, dry well system being shown not located more than the 10 feet, which is a standard specification. We believe that locating it closer to the structure is actually appropriate. We don't have to meet that 10-foot offset because this is a slab on grade system. So I think the offset, and Mike, you can probably speak to this much more than I can. I know enough to be dangerous about this, but a dry well system, is that added buffer is provided to prevent any seepage into a crawl space or a basement condition, which we don't have in this location. So we believe that the location is appropriate, but we can work through any comments and discussions as we get to building permit on that. As I mentioned, the water service line is currently being located. I believe the locates will be out there this week. We will add that information into the building permit information. And also an additional EQR is going to be required to be purchased for the additional units. So at building permit submission, we will buy that additional EQR for the water service. Other comments consisted of, there's the fire hydrant that is located now with the changed parking condition. It becomes a little bit closer to our edge of pavement, and so we'll be putting 2 bollards at least to protect that critical infrastructure. One comment was, where's the irrigation tap? When we do the water service line, that will be informed because there is a backflow on the property, but the actual location of the irrigation system will be fine-tuned as we do the locates. There was some previous removal of trees out there. Some of those trees actually were not fully on our property, but there were trees that were removed, and so as mitigation for those trees, staff has requested that we put a columnar upright, not a broad spreading deciduous tree. So we have located a new deciduous tree in that area of large species landscape and pedestrian easement. The existing blue spruce that are out there would need to be limbed up both for pedestrian access and for vehicular access. So we'll follow the recommendations of the town to make that occur. The fire marshal had provided that the rooftop planters, which are providing for the safety, the buffer on the upper level, be constructed of fire-resistant materials, and then also our shade sails also should be fire-resistant as well. So we'll be sure to follow that. And then finally, 15% of the plowable area of the driveway parking area needs to be provided as snow storage. And as you have seen, it's a very limited site that we can do that, but the best place that we can do that is underneath the large coniferous trees where that curb cut is going to be closed. And that area just about hits our perfectly our 15% requirement. And also, of course, the south-facing nature of this and the lack of snow, hopefully that doesn't stick around, will be a factor of that. So with that, that completes our presentation. We're happy to answer any questions. And Paul, if you have anything to add or anything, Willis, going once, going twice.
All right.
Turn it over to you guys for
presentations. We'll open up for any commissioner questions. Bill?
Yeah, I do have a question. The memo seemed to imply that there was a deficiency of external storage, but then there wasn't. So I was a little confused by that, because it didn't say there actually was, but then it was talking about in response to deficient exterior storage that bike storage should be added. So I was kind of confused as to what happened there. Was there something removed from the memo?
Yeah, I can respond to that. So initially, I guess ahead of the Bach meeting, there had been discussion of or request for Bach as part of the community housing livability standards to discuss the shared storage that is proposed as part of the project, as well as the lack of dedicated bike storage. Between Bach and this meeting, the applicant has responded to that, including the addition of bike storage as was shown.
Okay, so that's not an issue now, all that has been satisfied.
I would say that the shared storage could still be a point of discussion, but the bike storage has been added as part of the application. Additionally, the shared storage was not a concern at Bach.
Okay, so what point of discussion is still available for the shared storage exactly? So when we're in the comments, I know what to say.
I would say whether that is appropriate or not. And it was deemed appropriate at Bach.
Okay. And some of it was added in the design process that, well, there's the bike box.
So and I don't remember exactly how it all came together. We always have the tough shed in the back corner, and that is 100 square feet of space that is there for the existing tenants and will be there for the future tenants. And that is primarily used as bike storage. I believe at Bach, we did indicate that there was bike storage underneath, as I'm showing up on our image right there. That is dedicated bike storage that will be located.
I saw that.
And I don't know if that was at Bach or not, but that's our representations now that we're committed to providing this ground floor bike storage. And then in addition to that, there's the 50 square feet, which is the standard of, storage per unit.
For the third floor.
For the third floor, yes.
But So does the second floor unit have adequate storage or not?
Yes,
It
Yes,
does.
because it has the tough shed.
because it has the
Has a
tough shed that they
Okay,
utilize.
so tough shed satisfies that one's.
By square footage, yeah.
Okay. That answers my question, more or less. In a
Well, these,
circuitous
you
way.
know, are memories of
But
this.
yeah, that was my only question.
Kyle, questions?
Why does adding a single unit have to get full P and Z review and go to council versus being a review by staff? This seems just really onerous for,
It's a good question. I can answer at least part of it. Because this site is located in a PUD, there's a PUD amendment that's required as part of the entitlements process, which requires town council review.
okay, so it's not just our zoning code.
It is also our
Also, yeah.
process for PUD amendments. However, that would be a perfect item of discussion when the land use code rewrite comes back in front of P and Z, particularly for deed restricted units.
Thank you. That's it.
Rob?
What is the proposed height and what is the allowable height?
I don't have that off the,
It's 30 feet?
30 feet?
Even is allowed, and that's what's proposed.
what is proposed?
We're 2911, I mean, we're very close.
With no parapets or mechanical, someone unusual. Excellent. Is this just the first reading? Will we see it again? Or no?
No, P and Z will not see it again.
And then it looks like stackable parking right on the north side of the parking lot. I know that we've discussed it as a P and Z, but is there an issue with it, or we just decide to allow it?
I would say that would be an appropriate point of discussion for P and Z. Additionally, stackable parking was noted in the referral comments, and as a result, the applicant has suggested a parking sharing agreement or easement to alleviate those concerns.
That's in lieu of?
I would
Or in
say
addition to?
in addition to.
Okay,
It's in addition to, I believe, yeah.
that's all I got, thanks.
Cindy?
I just have one question, I guess more for maybe personal interest. It looks like from the east elevation, that's all going to be glass on the exterior. Is that correct?
It's
Or
mixed
mainly glass?
Glass and solid panel, but it's floor to ceiling where it can be.
Since that unit is up there and kind of exposed, how do you keep it from getting incredibly hot?
Well, there's a couple measures that are available. One are electronic awnings, right, that could work in the summer when it's needed. And that can provide 4-foot, 6-foot generous overhangs. The other option would be vertical louvers. There is an overhang surrounding the glass that would accommodate vertical louvers, which would address eastern exposure as a shading device, but that's a more permanent solution. I kind of like the solution that will work when it's needed and then go away when it's.
So awnings would just go out from the
Awning, yeah.
building? Okay.
Yeah, and they'd be basically invisible, they'd just be mounted below the overhang. But we'd like to work with Paul and see how livable they are and what that issue is. And, you know, curtains are mandatory through the stipulation of livability requirements, and so we will have, Paul will specify generous and beautiful curtains behind glass.
Electronic blinds, I'll be putting blinds in there, that are electronic blackout
Yeah,
sheer,
okay.
yeah. But you're right, that's a good question, because that sub-facing does get warm,
Yeah, I was just curious.
yeah.
That's it, thanks.
Mike?
This is a rental unit, not ownership.
Proposed as rental.
Okay. That's the only question I had.
Cool. Ben?
Any plans to update the existing floor between the industrial rug washing building and unit number 1?
Willis, we could talk about,
So are there any plans to renovate the existing
Is there,
residential unit?
yes.
Yeah, I believe in the interior, Paul has plans to do that. On the exterior, we certainly are recladding the existing. And I believe Paul plans to, well, I can't speak for Paul, tell me.
I would just ask if you have additional comments that you just come up to the microphone for the record.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
State your name.
My name is Paul Cathers. Yes, that's a great question. I am going to be doing paint, carpet, probably some new appliances, but the footprint won't be changing, and we'll just be upgrading and changing the paint, carpet, appliances, upgrading and cleaning it up to match the unit up above.
So structurally, the existing building is sufficient to add a new floor above it?
Yeah, and through engineering, we'll determine that, but the building next door, Cather's Home, same platform. It was built, that second floor, when it was Howard's Garage. We built that second level, and the structure was had plenty of strength to be able to do that. So we're hoping that that's going to be the same case once we have the engineers look at it.
Okay. How many vehicles does the rug wash own?
How many vehicles? 2.
2.
Yeah.
Okay. And will the lower deck be for both units' use?
Yes.
Okay. And is there any connection from the back deck of the new proposed unit to safely enter or exit via emergency means any other parts of whether Cather's home or an escape ladder or anything related to egress or emergency access?
We could do that. We could do an escape ladder.
If you look at the perspective from the south, you'll see a stair that winds up. I mean,
Yep.
that's the access to the new unit.
That's access to the new unit, but from the exterior deck, if
Mhm.
there's, if that stair is missing, not accessible, the way would somebody would exit that third unit would be to jump down, to cross over to Cather's.
Yeah, I've done it many times, but we could do a ladder there. That would make it much safer for sure. That is,
I think it meets by code.
By code, just curious.
yeah.
By code, it meets the accessibility standards and the egress standards.
Great.
And there's 2 means of egress required from an outdoor deck. One is the stair, the other is to wait for the fire truck and someone will catch you.
Yep.
You can't get out.
And from town's perspective, everyone at town is okay with the existing crosswalk condition at View and Basalt and the new proposed driveway access and the traffic movements within this vehicle?
The applicant would be paying exactions or fees that go to support the pedestrian improvements and roadway improvements.
In addition to the Cody Lane
Right.
roundabout?
Yeah, on a pro rata share,
Yes.
based on the square footage. So that would be part of the building permit fees that would be included.
No further questions? Thanks.
Go for it.
Yeah, I have one more question. Are there any visible additional HVAC components, such as like mini split compressors or anything like that, that's going to happen with this, or is this going to just tie into whatever is existing, like boilers and, or electric baseboards or whatever it's got?
Yeah, I can answer that. Patrick could open up the roof plan.
No, I don't have the roof.
Oh, you don't have the roof
I
plan? Well,
can get the
that's
roof,
good.
yeah.
Zoom in on this corner here.
I don't-
We've preliminarily looked at how to reroute some of the existing venting.
Yeah,
I can zoom in, but.
From the tower. In terms of the rug wash interior space, there's a double height space which is directly under the deck. There's a series of HVAC components up there that we've thought about rerouting out the west side of the facade and take it horizontally through the wall and not vertically into the outdoor deck area. So we've strategized over how to eliminate any conflicts between exhaust and industrial use and the outdoor space.
but you're not going to
We
have,
don't have a as a disclaimer, we don't have an MEP on board.
Yeah.
So we've done this conceptually. Other bits of it we've taken up directly through a thickened wall just outside the kitchen, just adjacent to the refrigerator. You can see there's a chase there in a plan. I think Patrick has hopefully zoomed in.
Can you-
Yeah,
if
and
you can see
that
that.
allows plumbing vents to go up through the roof.
What I was getting at is, I was just wondering if there's going to be any of those scary-looking, mini split compressors that wind up on the roof or on the building, because they look like spaceships and stuff.
No, I'm anticipating, well, we'll see. We don't have an MEP on board.
The only reason I'm asking is because, at this stage, everything looks great, and then you wind up with these things, and the neighbors would go like, what's that? And then they come in, how could you allow this thing, and they're like this tall, and they got these
Yeah.
pointy things coming out of them, and
Well, what I've done in other situations like this, and maybe you want to consider it for a condition of approval, is that screening elements are applied to any rooftop mechanical. And that's often written in condo docs. or
Well, the
HOA docs.
code allows for that anyway. I was just wondering if you had that thought out yet or not.
Well, I think screening's a perfectly reasonable approach, and it's not going to look like, oh my God.
I have one other question. I realized that we're doing this. So our code requires a 2-bed, 1.5 bath.
The livability standards require that for deed-restricted units.
Wow. All right.
Which we met.
In that vein, just for my own information, what are the Category 5 standards that they're meeting?
Category 5 is basically 200% AMI, so you can always rent lower. It just basically gives them flexibility based on who who's there to rent.
In that vein, the goal was to rent to Cather's employees, not necessarily the rug wash. Is that accurate? Either or. Which then gets into my next question is, I know we didn't get any formal feedback from Ricky or from your tenants, but any feedback from the tenants that are there?
I ran into the tenants when I was hanging the public notice sign. They've lived there for 14 years.
Yeah.
They love it. It's been a fantastic place. They raved about Paul and all that, so they were very happy. I can report that.
And in that sense, have you thought through the construction impact on the business and on them if the approvals happen and go forward? Is that being thought out?
Yes. Yeah, concern for sure on the tenants on the second floor, and our plan would be we have a unit coming out vacant on the top of Cather's home, so we move them to there, we do the construction, the upgrades, and then we move them back. We have to make sure it's gonna be doable for them. Rents are gonna go up. We're right now currently paying $1,900 for a 2-bedroom. The apartments above the Cather's home unit are $2,500. They're 2-bedroom, they're beautiful units. Rents are gonna go up a little bit. I'm hoping, because they are great tenants. You guys know them, we've seen them around town. I don't think Rick is going to be impacted too much, but we'll be doing a deeper dive with that, so we figure that out.
Okay, just in my head.
No, good question.
Right.
My concern.
Go ahead, Kyle, yeah.
If it's category 3, do they have to have that half bath? So it's not because it's category. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure that because you can rent to 200, they have to build a half bath in a very small space. Okay. Trying to help you guys out, sorry.
Appreciate it. Yeah, get that code amendment going.
Any more questions? Awesome. We will open it up for public comments at 6:46. Seeing as no one is here, no one is online, we will close the public hearing at we'll say 6:47. So we're open for a minute. We'll go with commissioner comments. We'll start with Ben.
No comments. I think it's a great addition to the corner of Basalt. South side.
I second Ben.
Third it.
I do have a comment. I always do, but this is actually a compliment. Usually with like workforce housing, one of my usual comments is, this is frickin' ugly. Please try and make it a little better. Come back to us again with this not so shitty looking. And this is not. This is quite Tony actually for workforce housing. I mean, it's the higher end of it. It's RO, but still, people who live and work here deserve decent design, and we shouldn't have to say on every single project it looks like a frickin' warehouse. So thank you very much, and also Patrick, it was a nice package. It was well thought out, better than we usually see.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Willis and I are a good team.
Bill, I thought you were going to say the color of the glass was wrong.
No, it's not going to be like that. I don't care. It's like an abstraction.
Kyle, any comments?
No comments.
Rob?
Motion to approve?
I don't get the
Oh,
comments.
sorry.
I know you. It's all good, I'm fine. We have a motion to approve,
Second.
a second. You want a roll call or just a voice vote?
Voice vote is fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Carries.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. On that note, the last item on our agenda is staff and commissioner comments.
All right. Let's see here. Fun stuff. April 22nd is Earth Day, so be looking for that. There'll be an event over in the Basalt River Park. I think that's going to happen early in the afternoon into the evening, but look for the posters on that for the details. Our summer series for the summer concerts is getting lined up, so look for that poster to come out as well. It's in design. There is a call to artists for consignment sculptures to be placed in Willits, and that closes at the end of April, I believe, so keep an eye out for that. BPAC is also awarding grants right now. They've gotten a record number of submissions and are interviewing artists right now to get down to the wins. So look for that. We've gotten submissions for grants for everything from murals to middle school performances to performances in the River Park and beyond. All the art things there. I don't want to steal your, you want to talk about Cliffs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have chosen a proposer for the upgrade and renovation to Cliffs Hillside Park next to Mike's house. And we have a draft contract which will be in front of Town Council next Tuesday. If you feel like supporting that, that would be fantastic.
Which park?
Cliffs Hillside Park.
Oh, the one up there.
Yep. And so that is for design and installation. And we have gone with a design build team, local, the Rocky Mountain Custom Landscapes and Lionheart Places. So yeah, that contract will go in front of council next week. I can pass it back. I've got a couple other
Yeah,
things.
that was good. We had 5 nice submissions on that.
I have a question on that. Does that contract price include installation?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All in and engineering as well, and
So it's kind of
our fees on that.
Mhm.
an all-in price, basically,
Yeah.
for the town. Cool.
Yep.
All right, sticking with the post stuff, you've probably noticed that I think I talked about this last time, the bridge behind 7-Eleven is under construction. It is going to be closed for hopefully only 2 weeks because the railing along the bridge is getting replaced as well. So there's not a safe way.
Scaffolding going up.
Yes, there's not a safe way to keep it open. So it's a little bit of a detour for everybody, school traffic, but safety first.
That closes on the 23rd.
On the 23rd.
You want to do that after school's out?
No.
23rd would be during spring break.
We get 1 week of spring break and 1 week of during school, yep. Yeah, thank you for that. Let's see here. I mentioned the land use code update. That update was recently made to council on March 10th. We're at 50% on that. It'll be coming back to this group multiple times with key decision points to talk about. It's a hefty conversation, but look forward to that.
Based on what Kyle was bringing up before, can we make sure that's added so we can?
Yes, in fact, there is draft language being created right now for that reason. So
For both livability and administrative, or just administrative?
not for livability, but that could be something to be brought up as well, which is totally reasonable. No, it's more about process.
Yeah.
Because to the point made, should a single unit that's deed restricted have to go through this lengthy process, or is there an administrative option for that? And quite frankly, if we adopt an administrative option, the state is granting communities money for supporting those efforts. So you'll see that come back this summer, and then the ultimate goal is to update the updated land use code by the end of the year. Okay, I'm trying to pick my things here. So also there are 3 seats up for election on town council. We have 4 candidates, so strongly encourage everyone to get informed on that. Election day is April 7th. You may or may not have a candidate sitting amongst you. You do?
Thanks.
Let's see here. And, at the last town council meeting on March 10th, a lease was signed with TACA to operate a youth empowerment facility 2 doors down from Mezzaluna at 931 East Valley Road. So for those of you who were around when TACA first opened, TACA had a space in Willits called the Temporary that they operated out of, and then they moved obviously to their main space. This is the same idea, youth empowerment zone, programming. There'll also be some adult programming in there as well, and then the ultimate goal is to move that over into a community center that could be built on 2E if that goes forward. Or as I like to say, when that goes forward.
Is this a current nonprofit that's just found a space, or it's a?
It's DeCaw, and the space is owned by the town but has been vacant
Oh, so Caw is the one renting
to
the
be the
space?
operator, yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, they have a hard time having, they have constrained space to operate youth programming, because stuff that happens after school is when they're setting up for performances. And also, we don't have a community center, so it's kind of a start it there and grow it to a new space opportunity. Speaking of 2E, there will be future work sessions with Town Council on that project about the affordable housing and the community center. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. I anticipate that'll happen early summer.
Midland.
I don't know if that's
Okay.
gonna, I'm
Did
not
childcare leave 2E?
So for the last year and a half, we've been doing public outreach on affordable housing there. We have included a community center that will have space for youth programming, and it could be toddler time, it could be rooms for daycare. The programming is to be determined, yeah.
Post board appoint committee members? No.
Mm-mm.
What about your views?
I know, I was saving that one for last. Anything else? Any questions about any of that stuff?
We'll not have a meeting
Oh, yeah.
on April 7th, Election Day,
Mhm.
and we will likely have a meeting then 2 weeks later on the 21st.
Yeah, good call. And this is my last Basalt Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all so much. I have really enjoyed my time with Basalt, but my last day is this Friday. Then I'm taking my kids on an extended spring break, and we'll be, I know, I'm gonna fail, just kidding. And then I'll be moving up to Snowmass and taking on the Community Development Director position there in April, so.
Who's currently community development?
The Community Development Director in Snowmass is Dave Shinneman, and
Oh.
he is retiring.
Oh, he's retiring. okay.
Yeah. So,
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah,
thank you very
congratulations.
much. Thank you very much. It's bittersweet, but I'm very excited.
So is
And
there a
who's-
job search or hiring from
Yeah,
within?
who's going to take this job?
Their town manager is working through what that means.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So indeterminate.
yeah. TBD. So, tell your friends.
On that note, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I have
Oh,
Commissioner comment.
Commissioner comments, how dare I, sorry.
This is one that it happened to me just today. Some of you heard that. I got a flat on the way down to the site visit on a stretch where I've been bitching about the pavement on there for at least a couple of years. And to that note, just, I don't know, 4 days ago, I buttonholed Gary Tenenbaum about that same thing, because it's been really shitty there for a while now. And he said that
Near the
they're-
Emma stores, the Emma store.
yeah, but they've been talking about that for at least a couple of years. So, it's like the crosswalk to the bus depot in front of my house. We first started talking about that when my kids were in high school, and now they're in grad school. So, and it still hasn't happened yet, so I'm not anticipating anything happening with the Emma store that soon. But that's the second time I've gotten a flat on that stretch.
Was this on the Rio Grande Trail?
Start paying
No,
attention.
on the Emma Trail, right by the white brick house.
But it's a paved bike trail like the Rio Grande? just
Yeah,
on that
yeah,
side?
it was the only one they plowed. Yeah, so it's open all winter.
There's a funny section of that trail. Most of it's in town of Basalt limits, but there's a section of it that it belongs to Picken County.
Yeah, and that's why I was talking to Gary Tenenbaum about it, because it's their section that's the shitty part.
Yeah.
Um,
And your crosswalk has been designed. We just need support to get it put in the budget.
Yeah, so, maybe before I die.
So maybe lean on some future council members to help you.
Going away presentation.
Yeah, well, and also, the upgrades to
Not so easy.
the bike path, the whole Emma bike path, that was your project when you got hired. Remember that?
I know, and we're, I've got the Willets Lane plan going.
Yeah,
We're at 50% drawings. We were just out there today. I think we scared a lot of people because we had probably 10 of us out there doing site visits and looking at some of the conditions. So I see you. In fact, I'll tell you what, since we're here, which I passed off, but at the last council meeting, council approved an IGA with RAFTA. So now Post will oversee all of the Mid-Valley Trails funds. And we can use it for these sorts of things that are maybe outside of town limits and also inside of town limits.
because that one stretch, nothing happens because no one really wants to deal with it, because it's sort of like, an afterthought for everybody.
Well, Picken County has maybe suggested that they might be making some future improvements there, so they don't want to work on the path quite yet, but maybe we'll have some other funds that we can throw at it.
Just that one hole.
You got to let our
I've hit it
future council
twice.
people know, though.
I know I should know it's there, as Rob reminded me.
Maybe you could bring some neon spray paint and just circle it, so
You
you
know-
know.
Little night mission, go fix it yourself.
Just draw something really inappropriate in the circle, and then it'll be fixed.
Like a penis, like they do
Yeah.
with some
You know, I didn't tell you what to draw inappropriately, I just said something inappropriate. Vandalism sees action.
all the time.
Like, once you delineate it, you have to have protection zones for.
'Cause in normal cities, that's how town managers and city managers get fired, by not filling up potholes.
Paint on there that doesn't meet this thing.
This is sort of in between,
Yeah, but it's not.
No man's land.
no man's land.
That's the things we gotta fix.
Anyhow,
Any other
I'm
commissioner
off my
comments?
soapbox, and I'm sorry for attacking you on that, but I figure since it's your last time, I could do
Anything
that.
else?
No, I'm good.
No, good luck in your new role.
Thank you.
Sincerely.
Thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 7:01. Have fun, you.